Let's hear from Spurs manager Thomas Frank. He's been speaking tonight ahead of their game against Newcastle. It's live on talkSPORT. He was asked about whether he trusts Cristian Romero as captain.
I think it's a couple of things. Of course, answer this question, but then I think we've spoken enough about Romero last two press conferences. For me, I think he's a leader. I said it before. He's a young leader, so he's learning all every day. I use the example. I remember when I was 30 years old, I thought I was on top of the world. I was nowhere near the level I am today in terms of leadership and understanding things. And then when you have a player that is playing with so much passion and aggressivity, then sometimes things like that can happen. That's not said that he shouldn't learn from it. Of course, he needs to learn from it going forward.
He needs to get his ship in order, Thomas Frank, doesn't he?
He was unconvincing with his answer. I feel for him because it's not the first time he's had to answer this question. He's been asked before. And there's going to come a point where you can't keep defending the same thing. And he's not the first manager at Spurs that's had to answer those questions. That's the problem he's got. This is old news, and it's becoming boring.
I don't personally think Thomas Frank thinks he's a good leader.
Well, he was hesitant in his answer.
Yeah.
You know, the way he chose his words, he was choosing his words really carefully.
A leader doesn't get sent off the most in Premier League since he's been here, and a leader, doesn't cost your team 4 games. He's out for 4 games. That don't happen.
Yeah.
Leaders don't do that.
And that, look, there's a fine line between having this in your game, and this is what makes you the player you are, harnessing that and using it to a good. Sometimes the lines get blurred with him. Winning the ball and then going through and doing what he does. You can't keep making the same mistakes. Learn from your own mistakes, and he's not. Unfortunately, at the minute, that's the problem. He's got in at 4 games. I mean, you're talking about you're worried about looking over your shoulder. 4 games.
Yeah, no.
One of your leaders is missing.
All right, it's time for this. Back pages, Simon Johnson.
Simon.
Evening.
All right,
Hello,
Si. How are you, matey?
I'm good. Did he mean to help cheer you up, Jamie? You're very downbeat just then.
Well, talking about Tottenham, haven't we? And I'm going to continue that because on the back page of Sun, we've got desperate times and desperate times. Eddie Howe and Thomas Frank. It's looking tough for them right now.
And of course they play each other, and Thomas Frank dealing with that to start with. He mentioned the word desperate 8 times in his press conference in relation to
that's never good.
The need to win this game. I mean, you have to say he's right, but to say it 8 times, I think it's kind of
when a manager starts saying it's desperate. I mean,
you're almost saying you're desperate.
Yeah, it's basically saying that he's desperate, and I just, as a manager, I just don't know if that's the right look. It just never. I just don't know how you can ever come off with that in a. Like you're basically saying that you're desperate. You're in panic mode.
Yeah,
as a manager, you're meant to be the calming influence and say, no, we're all right. We're going to make it happen.
It doesn't send a very positive message out there to.
I think the job's too big for him. I think the job's too big for him. He's struggling.
It's a huge, huge step up. Always going to be from Brentford to Tottenham. He did a wonderful job at Brentford, but the scrutiny goes up tenfold, and he's found it very, very difficult. Obviously, that you can look at reasons beyond Thomas Frank in terms of recruitment and so on, but he has, you have to say, not just struggled on the pitch getting results, but his media. He comes across as a very nice man, but some of the things he comes out with, even like he just played that clip, he was clearly struggling with a very difficult issue. So worries there. But quickly on Eddie Howe, of course, also in a very difficult situation and booed off the Newcastle after their defeat against Brentford. He was asked, do you still believe you're the right man for the job? Of course, he said yes. But he said, look, the moment I sort of think I'm not, then I'm not going to get in the way, sort of thing. But the message was very much he still believes he's the right man for the job, and of course he's going to say that. He's not going to talk himself out of a great job. And it was only 12 months ago that he took Newcastle to their first trophy for many a year. So, but you do feel like Newcastle fans are starting to turn, and that's always worrying. So
it is indeed. Also, that's worrying. Dyche's, Forest future in doubt, says the back page of the Telegraph.
Well, this would be extraordinary, Jay. I mean, they've got rid of 2 managers already this season. Great story here from Jason Burton and John Percy, suggesting that if Forest were to lose on Wednesday night against Wolves, then his position will be coming under greater scrutiny. And of course, the defeat against Leeds on Friday, the manner of it was very alarming. Suddenly, the results after I think he was in contention for Manager of the Month not so long ago, but it's suddenly gone wrong for him. The defeats at Wrexham in the FA Cup as well, and that gap suddenly West Ham within 3 points, and understandably there are a lot of nerves about where you're going. But if you get rid of a third manager in a season, I mean, who do you get next?
Yeah, all of a sudden it does look. Where's the problem? Is it in the dugout or is it in other parts?
I don't think they should make any changes until the end of the season. Maybe at the end of the season you look at it and say, is he the guy to take us forward? But where they are right now, you need Sean Dyche.
But the problem they got is West Ham. There's been an upturn in performances, upturn in results. They're now looking over their shoulder, and understandably so, because they are a side that feel like they're moving in the right direction. And even though, to be honest with you, the results, they've had 2 wins and 2 draws previously until Friday evening, but they've not been able to shake off West Ham, and they're the problem.
Yeah. Back page of The Guardian. People laugh at me. Rossini admits mockery of him as affected family.
Yeah, so I was at the Chelsea press conference early on today, and look, anyone that's been following Liam Rossini on social media, he's been trending a lot ever since he got the Chelsea job. There's been a lot of unflattering memes and talks about him being, whether it be David Brent or LinkedIn Liam, these kind of comments, or rather unflattering and kind of sort of not taking him seriously. I think it's been sort of very harshly treated by the general public out there. So he was asked about sort of how he's been feeling about it. He said he expected it, and he said he himself he tries to ignore these things. He's not letting it get to him. But the issue is, of course, he's got sort of teenage children. He's got parents that they're the one, and as always with people in football, it's not so much the person that's on the receiving end; it's the family that really sort of feels it the most. And look, Rossini was very keen to say, look, I'm happy with the job, and I knew this was part of the territory, and it's not going to upset him, but the fact that it's upset his family is
he's done an amazing job, right? And fair play to the lad. He's done incredible to get where he's got to. Just take it as a pinch of salt. Do you know what I mean? There's always people out there who are going to try and knock you. And if he keeps winning, and he keeps doing a good job, then everyone will shut up, and everyone will then go, you know what? Even at the start, I was a bit like, how has Liam Rossini got this Chelsea job? Now I'm looking at it going,
7 wins out of 9.
He's all right. He's all right, you know. He's not bad.
Yeah, he's got off. Look, there's a lot of snobbery. What gets me about it is that we often cry about the lack of chances English coaches get in the game, especially at the big clubs. And of course, the lack of black managers in football too. And yet here we've got someone in that job, and he's kind of been treated with a lot of sort of, like I said, disrespect, really. But as you say, Jamie, he's not letting it sort of get to him. He knows that the best way to shut people up is winning games. And so far, look, he's lost twice to Arsenal, which is no disgrace. He's won all the other 7 games. So as long as he keeps doing that, then this noise will soon go away.
Results will shut. But I actually think he's dealt with it very well. There is a side of him, I think, that kind of laughs along with it. But he's, you know, you're right. We actually forget that they are